Hi everyone, welcome to 41ideas.com, where I give my thoughts on cool startups and interesting ideas. The first startup that I want to talk about today is called Rove. That's roveapp.com. It is an app that you install on your phone, and it tracks where you go, what restaurants you eat at, where you work, kind of just keeps track of everything you go, and it pulls together any pictures you take or any special notes you make, during the day, and then it just compiles a log of your life, a private log of your life. Everything stays on the phone, all your data. It doesn't go up into the cloud where people can sell it to corporations and make lots of money. I like it. I used it for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. It was pretty cool to look back and see. Oh, I went to this place on this day, and I remember we went out to eat here. It was pretty cool. My one complaint, which I think is the major complaint of all apps of this type, is that it is a huge battery hog. Every day that I had this app enabled, it was the single largest usage battery user on my phone. And I ended up turning it off because I was getting to the end of the day and I was getting close to running out of battery. And that's just, in the modern world, that's just not acceptable. So that's my concern, and I've stopped using it because of that, but I really like the idea. And they have been extremely vigilant about posting updates. I think pretty much every day since I first downloaded the app, they have posted an update. So hopefully, the majority of these updates are bug fixes and also improving the battery usage, because if they can get that battery usage down low enough that it doesn't make a serious impact on my phone's battery life, then they might have something. But yeah, go check it out. Try it for a few days. It's worth trying. It's pretty cool. So yeah, guys, work on the battery issue. If you can fix that, you really have something. Okay, the second startup that I want to talk about today, it's not even really sure I would call it a startup, but it's called onepagers.io. And they essentially produce one-page articles on buzzword topics in the tech industry. Right now, I think it's, what do they have? They have software as a service, security software, and marketplaces. And each one is just a single page where it gives just an overview of what it is, like just what the word even means, who are the big players in the industry, just statistics, how long it's been going on, how it interacts, where people see it going forward. It's actually really helpful because they're pretty quick reads and they give you a really good overview. If someone mentions, oh, I work at a SaaS company, and you no idea what it is, you read this page real quick and then you have a pretty good idea of what they do. It's pretty cool. I like it. Looks like they're going for the kind of the wiki model, because it says you can actually post your own edits and keep pages updated. So I'm not actually sure they're going for a revenue model, which is why I said that I'm not sure it's actually qualified as a startup, because I don't think they're going to be trying to make money. I could be wrong, and I'm not actually sure how they would make money. Yeah, I can't think of any way they would really be able to make significant money. But it's really cool. It's really helpful. They have a few more coming up. What do they say? Yeah, okay. So the next three that they're working on right now are for Bitcoin, drug startups, and drones. So I'm looking forward to those. Those should be pretty cool, pretty good reads. Bitcoin, I've had it explained to me like a dozen times, and I get it at some level, but it's still not entirely sure how it works, other than just being a currency. Anyway, oh, real quick, one of the startups that I mentioned early on, one of my first videos actually, Meet.co, they have just launched their Kickstarter. So go check out Meet.co. They have a link to the Kickstarter there, and check it out if you like it. Support them. I like what they're doing. So, and they're hoping to use the Kickstarter money to fund the servers long enough for them to actually develop revenue. So go check it out. See if we're willing to support them. Okay, so So the last thing I want to talk about is not a startup. It is another technology that has actually I found a few years ago, and it's just I really like it. It's called the SABRE engine, and it is a rocket engine that was developed in the UK by Reaction Engines, and it is a single stage to orbit rocket. And for anybody who's not doesn't follow the space industry really closely, that's a big deal. That's like strong AI. That is an unlimited oil well. It's a big deal. And the reason it's a big deal is because rockets work by basically combining fuel and oxidizer and igniting, and it creates thrust out the back. The problem is that oxidizer is really heavy because in a lot of big rockets they use either kerosene and oxygen or hydrogen and oxygen, and oxygen is heavy. I know it doesn't feel heavy because it's all around us, but taking the liquid form that you need for rocket, it is really heavy, and you need a lot of it. So this is why like the Saturn V rocket and the shuttle rockets were so big. It was largely because of the oxidizer. But how the SABRE engine works is it actually for the first I think it was 20 miles of atmosphere, they extract oxygen out of the air to use as an oxidizer. Now this isn't a brand new idea. They're not the first ones to have that idea. But as far as they're the first ones who've actually been able to pull it off. They posted a video actually about 2 years ago demonstrating their engine actually taking in oxygen from the atmosphere and using it as rocket fuel. Now the reason that's difficult is because when you take oxygen out of the air, you have to compress it down to liquid form. But when you're traveling through the atmosphere and you're trying to compress the air that's coming in, it heats up a lot. And by a lot, I mean higher than the melting point of any known material. So that's a problem because you need to be able to contain it. But what they've done is they've developed a actually pretty complex system that cools the oxygen as it's coming in the engine before they compress it. And the way they do that is they have this helium cycle that runs through their engine. Now, what they do with the helium is they compress the helium in one part of the cycle, and they cool it using the liquid hydrogen, which is obviously very cold because it's liquid hydrogen. And they also they compress it, which works basically like the fridge in your kitchen, but instead of Freon, it's helium. And then the helium they have this interesting coupler thing that uses the liquid helium to cool the oxygen as it's coming into the engine. And once it's cooled, you can then compress it, and they cool it like to the vaporization point, so they get it like really cold. And then it can be compressed and used with hydrogen for the rocket. It's actually quite a bit more complicated than I'm alluding to here, because doing that is very difficult. But that's essentially how it works. So they seem to have pulled it off, and they have a design for a ship, a space plane, basically, that could actually use this engine. And it works in air-breathing mode up to about Mach 5.5, which is really fast. And then they also have a liquid oxygen tank like in the plane for once you're out of the high-density atmosphere and going faster than Mach 5, you still need more oxidizer to get up into orbit. So they actually just bring that on board the ship, but by not needing the oxidizer for the first 20 miles and the first up to Mach 5.5, they dramatically reduce the weight of the ship, so you don't need to drop off the big fuel containers all the time. So that's super cool. I really like the idea. I've been waiting for years for them to post another video or to do another test of it. Nothing's come out yet, but I keep checking all the time. And I just want to talk about it because that's a super cool engine. So yeah, go check out the Rove app. Just try it for a few days. It's pretty cool, especially if you're like going around places and going out to eat with your friends. You're gonna take a bunch of pictures. Just check it out. It's pretty cool. And then OnePagers.io, if you ever are confused about software as a service, marketplaces, and security software, just check it out. Read it real quick. It'll clue you in, and then keep an eye out for Reaction Engines to post a new test of their SABRE engine, because I'm hoping a new one's coming out soon, and that'll be really cool. So thank you everybody for listening, and I'll see you next week.